This is Charles Hatfield. He's more commonly known by his nickname, the Rainmaker. Charles first was interested in the idea of making rain as he read the studies of a Civil War scientist who discovered that after many of the major battles of the Civil War, due to the amount of gunpowder released into the atmosphere, it would cause Mother Nature to react and to rain. Charles was fascinated. He thought that this idea of creating his own rain was very interesting. So he began to experiment on his father's California farm, mixing as many chemicals as he could find and releasing them into the atmosphere to see if it would cause rain. Eventually, Charles came up with what he referred to as his perfect solution. It was a combination of 27 different chemicals that when he released them into the atmosphere, it would cause rain. So off he went across the nation and through parts of Canada to make rain for cities that would hire him. In the year 1914, Charles was assigned his biggest task yet. The city of San Diego was in its biggest drought in history and hired Charles to fill their reservoirs with rain, 10 inches of water. They told him he had 1 year to do it, and if he did so, they would pay him $10,000, which is equivalent to today of $230,000. So off he went, up into the mountains of San Diego, surrounding the city. He built towers, and he put cauldrons on each of these towers and began to release this chemical into the atmosphere. For the first few months, he didn't experience much success. Clouds would form, but not much rain fell. And little by little, the people of San Diego began to forget about Charles. Until January of 1915. It began to rain. And it began to rain pretty good. The most rain San Diego received in years. And all of a sudden, people remembered Charles was around still. They began to praise him, to thank him, to be excited at the miracle he had just performed. The problem is, it never stopped raining. For 3 weeks straight, it rained, and it rained, and it rained, eventually causing the biggest flood in San Diego history. Not only did he fill the reservoirs, but he overfilled the reservoirs. The dams broke, caused $3.25 million of damage, which would be $75 million in today's money. The city of San Diego quickly changed their philosophy about Charles. No longer were they praising him and thanking him for the great job he had done, but they were blaming him and accusing him of destroying the city. Rather than paying him the $10,000 as agreed, they decided to sue him for the $3.25 million of damage. As we think about this story of Charles, many of us think that what the city of San Diego did to Charles was unethical, was improper. The way they quickly turned on him after things went wrong. But often in life, we are just like the city of San Diego. When things are going right and things are going exactly how we plan, we're proud, we're happy, we're thankful. But the minute things turn and go the way we didn't plan, we begin to blame someone else or something else. We hide behind the bars of irresponsibility that we've built for ourselves. We begin to lock ourselves behind these bars and limit our freedoms. Just like a man in jail, we began to slowly become less free, to limit our progression. We get comfortable in ourselves of unaccountability, and we stay content to just live a life of averageness, of overall complacency, a life where we can just get by and not have to take responsibility, and the minute something goes wrong, we can turn it on someone else. We live this life, and we call that living. But the only way to truly live is to let ourselves out. And that is the only way we can get out of this prison, is if we do let ourselves out. We must open the gates that are holding us back by owning up to our mistakes and our successes, by being responsible for how our life ends out, by being accountable for what happens, whether good or bad. We must celebrate our successes, but we must also learn from our failures and own up to them. If we do this, we will experience more happiness, more gratitude, and more overall excitement in our life. We'll see the success we want. If we do this, we will truly begin to live a life of complete freedom, control, and satisfaction. If we do this, we will decide for ourselves who we truly become.